With games like Rainbow Six Siege where players shoot through a literal pixel-wide gap the size of Tyler 1 just to get a kill,
that's kind of small.
or Valorant where you have people spending hours learning a lineup just to get rolled in a gunfight. It's needless to say that the gaming sphere can be quite competitive. Players are trying to find any little advantage they can, and Skate 3 is no exception. We're constantly pushing the limits of this game. Enter the Ghost Revert. What is a Ghost Revert? Is it any different from a regular Revert? Is it different? Yes. What makes it different? Well, this is a more complicated question. Skate 3 has different spot battle maps. People usually enjoy skating the Megapark, but there's also a difference between spot battle types that you might not be aware of. Session maps like Megapark are no problem just to rack up points, but on maps like Wrong Hole and Library Exit, you can't just rack up these points with ease. What this means is if I do a trick on Megapark and land in a manual, I can hold my score until I'm ready to drop it. However, on Wrong Hole, if I do any trick and land in a manual, it drops my score. So how do we keep our score going on these maps? That's where the Ghost Revert comes in handy. The differences between Ghost Reverts and regular Reverts are Ghost Reverts. Your skater does a little twitch, the board doesn't fully rotate, and you're able to maintain speed in a line. Regular Reverts, they're boring, board fully rotates, and they're inferior. Now that we understand the difference, how do Ghost Reverts help us on some of these spot battle maps? Doing a revert after a trick will retain your score for a little bit before eventually dropping. So if we do a trick into a manual, then revert and perform another trick, we can keep our score going without it dropping. The issue is doing a regular revert, your board fully rotates. So utilizing a Ghost Revert, we can stay on our directed path while consistently holding our line. We now know what Ghost Reverts are and what they help with, but how do we do them? They're not easy at first, but they do become easier to do. The first step, be in easy mode. Also, know if you're in goofy or regular stance. Let's do a breakdown of a 3 trick. You can start the line with a 360 hard flip dart catch, flick out or double tap, then Ghost Revert, nollie 360 inward heel flip dart catch, flick out or double tap, Ghost Revert again, then finish with a nollie tray flip dart catch, and finally flick out or double tap, then stale or mute, all while you're constantly doing 360s and landing back into Finky. What is flicking out or double tapping? When you're in dart catch, you can either press RB or R1 to get out of dart catch. This is called double tapping. Or you can flick your right analog stick to the left or right. This is called flicking out. It's good to try and develop the habit of flicking out rather than double tapping. Let's learn how to do Ghost Reverts. Start by getting some speed, perform a hippie jump 180, and stay in Finky. Then do an ollie and perform a shifty seatbelt. Basically, it's a normal seatbelt, but you move your analog stick to the top left if you're in regular, or the top right if you're in goofy. Then, while you're still holding your analog stick in that diagonal direction, you want to ease up on it. Don't push your analog stick as far up as it can go. You want to balance it between the center and the edge or rim of the analog. Reason being is because you want to land in a manual. You can enable the manual meter on the on-screen help menu. You want to keep holding that position, and right as you're about to land, you want to do a revert. If your body twitches and you don't perform a full 180-degree revert, you now dig a Ghost Revert. How do these help us retain our score on reverting maps? Once you land, just like in the Tony Hawk games, you want to revert to hold your score, then manual after. In Skate 3, it's a Ghost Revert into a flip trick. We want to try and minimize the time we spend holding our manual because it'll eventually drop if no trick inputs are being made after our manual. What makes Ghost Reverts difficult in the first place? Well, they're not supposed to be in the game. The game wants to perform a regular revert, but the sequence of inputs causes the game to glitch out and perform a Ghost Revert, which is why you won't see this trick in the trick guide as an actual trick. In short, it's a glitch. It can be inconsistent since it's a glitch. The success rate of Ghost Reverts are relatively high compared to something like a Footplant Frosty. So don't lose your patience when you're trying to do Ghost Reverts because they're not an actual trick that's supposed to be in the game. If you ever find yourself trying to land in a manual after a trick and your score drops, now you know how to do a Ghost Revert, and you can hold your score for as long as you'd like or until the timer runs out.